welcome back to the next episode in the Hall series. This video we're going to be looking at this lock. It's an old rim lock, lever style. It's nice, big, chunky. It's got some brass detail on it. What it doesn't do is work or have a key, so we're going to see if we can fix that. First step is to get the knob off. These are normally cross drilled with a screw or sometimes a pin. Let's see if we can get this one off. Yeah, there you go. The true style for this house, it's not actually a period screw. It looks like it's some sort of modern stainless steel, but it's enough so we can now get the door handle off, which again looks like it's been cut and modified. We'll keep going. Now, next, get the lock itself off. One of the beauties about straight screws is if they get clogged up with paint, you can clean them a lot easier than you can with a Phillips head. So I'll just clean this up. See if I can get the screwdriver into bite. Yes, there we go. Now let's see if it lifts off. Yes. There we go. Let's take this out to the workshop and start having a look. So here we go, we've got the lock off the door, we've got the handle which operates the latch and the key that operates the bolt. This is the inside. Again, we've got the same handle and key, and we've got 3 screws, the latch and the bolt. So let's get it open and see what's going on. See whether these come undone, shall we?
Yes.
1, 2, 3. Yeah. Now we'll have the first look and see what we're dealing with. This is odd. There's a piece of wood in here. I don't know what that's for. Let's take the back off and have a look. Okay. Oh. What have we got there? Penny for luck. So we've got the bolt mechanism here, the latch mechanism driven by the handle crank here. So the handle and the handle crank. And this is the key mechanism with the warding, and it drives this bolt. So let's get a wire brush and give it all a good clean up. So we've got the inside cleaned up. Now I'll explain the way this lock works. This is the latch mechanism, the bit that springs every time you open and close the door. This works through this latch bolt and then this cam or lever that when you turn the handle rotates and withdraws like that. And then you've got a spring in here and a pivot point down here. This one's fairly simple and in good order. It's just had a bit of a clean up. This is the locking bolt mechanism here. It's controlled by this cam here. This spring's a bit weak, so we might need to do something about that. But this link here and this little nug in here engages here to stop it being engaged or retracted. You see, now it won't move, but if we push the lever up against the spring, there we go, and then back again. And this notch here, this is what's driven by the key. The key comes in, drags it back, or pushes it forwards. Now, I mentioned the key. Well, where does the key go? In the keyhole. But this is the warding. This is the pattern for the key. And this sits here in a steel bridge arrangement, and the inside of this, you can just see this pattern there is what needs to be cut out of the center of the key. The key also needs to be long enough to reach the back and the front, and it needs to be long enough so that the tip of the key will engage here and operate the bolt. The lock's all cleaned up. Now it's time to start making the new key. First step is a drawing. Now some of this is artistic, but some of it is key dimensions. For example, the length of the nub here is governed by the width of the lock body. The length of the shaft here is governed by the width of the door, so it will work from both sides. The diameter is governed by the diameter of the hole, and the collar needs to be big enough so it doesn't slip through. So from that I've drawn up this. The first step is going to make this shaft here. So we've got our dimensions. Now we're making the spindle of the key. I'm turning it between the centres to get the main diameter down, and then I'm going to cut the key hole diameter, and then I'll weld the tab on. So I'll get on with the machining. Now we've got the key down to the outside diameter. I've marked it up with blue, put some scribe lines on, and now I'm going to start cutting the pin diameter. So we've got a diameter for the key cut, then we've got our collar. Now I'm going to cut the taper before another decorative collar, and then up here is where the key end will go. This is where we'll have the tag welded on to cut for the boarding. So let's keep cutting. So that's the taper cut. Now to reset the tooling and cut the two decorative knots, two decorative roundels. So there we have our blank. Fits in like so. We need to weld the tab on here, which will be cut to match the warding in here, and on this end I need to make a ring and weld it on. So we'll do that next. There we go. We've got the ring on the key. Now we need to find out this dimension and the depth. So a little bit of weld, measuring, cutting, and then I've got to weld a tab on here, which is next. Now we've got our tab welded on, it's time to start the long process of fitting up. If I've got this right, this should be slightly too big, just so I can grind and file it down. Yep, we're just a fraction too big. So I'll start working that down with the bench grinder and then files, and then we'll keep going with the fitting. First filing done. Let's see if it fits. Yes, and there's not much, there's just about the right amount of axial play. Very good. Now I'll reassemble the internals and we'll see if it's enough to activate the bolt. Now this should, you see this edge here will just lift there, so this should lift and clear. So if we lock, that's locked. Now as we come up, the top of the key should release that cam, push that cam lever up and allow the bolt to rotate back, which it does. So back again, drive it back, and yep, perfect. Okay, I can go back to worrying about the warding now. This is the warding arrangement, and the way this works is this sits in the middle of the lock body like this, and so the lock has to have that the key has to have that shape cut out of the middle of it, so it's able to rotate. This is quite a delicate sort of Christmas tree like pattern, but it's quite worn, and actually however fancy it is, it doesn't matter as long as the key will pass. But we've also got to note this lip here will also need a cutout, so we need to make a groove down the middle of this key, and then a groove at the top, horizontal groove at the top for this bar, and then this Christmas tree arrangement later on. I've actually taken a pattern that you can just see there, so that's the shape I'm going to have to cut out of the key, something a bit like that. So we've got the slot marked. Now I'm going to cut that out with a really thin blade on the angle grinder. We're only looking for a bit of clearance to clear that warding, so let me cut that out now. I've cut the groove for the ward and it fits, plus a little bit of filing. Some of these brass is more worn than others. And I'm going to reinstall the ward in the right place. The ward is held on by two of these metal tabs that sit in there and are peened over. So I've drilled some strategic holes, and now just to file them out square. So we've got one for the bottom just down here, that's the lip against the shaft, and then we've got these two holes and this bigger hole for the Christmas tree arrangement. So out with the needle files. Got our warding cut, fits. See, now to fit the warding into the lock. So we've got the warding back installed, you can see. Now if I put the key in, see the key turns around the warding. So let's finish reassembling the lock. There we go, one finished key. Now, the last step in the lock series is to fit the rim lock back on the door. So let's get on with it. So we've got the lock on and the door handle fitted back again. Now to fit the key. I know it's not level, it's back in the original holes. What can I say? The last guy was a cowboy. Measure up the key and let's get this one on. There we go. We've got our refurbished rim lock with a new key, a new key fob, and there we go. See if it works. There we go. All done. Thanks for watching.